Hi, guys, and welcome to our day four chat, which is on one of my two favorite topics, which is the best bedtime routine from a self-care perspective. And as I was just mentioning to a few people that turned in earlier, it's I decided, I was getting ready for you guys. I was like, should I put on a little makeup? And I'm like, no, this is the bedtime routine one. This is me in my house coat, in my jams. Makeup is all off. I'm all ready for sleep. So I'm so happy to be doing this today. And I did send out to all of you a little infographic that I put together, and there is a sister version to it that you'll be getting tomorrow night or tomorrow by noon, which is the infographic all about the perfect morning. So this one was the night one, the next one is the morning one. So between the both of them, you'll be just swimming with health. So one of the reasons why we really, really focus on our bedtime routine is that, and I know I've said that many times before, is that when we sleep, that is our big opportunity for our body to heal. That's exactly what's going on during this time. So we want to do everything that we can to make sure nothing is in the way of our sleep and how deep of a sleep, how well of a sleep that we all get. And there's a couple little tips and a couple little tricks that I have for you. And we can't do all of them. I don't do all of them every single day. You know, if I hit all of them once a week, pretty good. But I think about every single one of them every single day. And some of them get easier over time, and some of them are still a little tricky for me. So I'm going to move over to that lovely infographic. Unfortunately, I know I get carried away and I make them all in pretty colors, and my printer right there does not like me when I print up things. So I'll probably go to Staples tomorrow and print up some really pretty versions of it. But so my first little point that you'll see up at the top left-hand corner, that's called the cushions. This is number one. And I always like to think of it as whenever I plan to go to bed, it could be 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, whatever that time is for you, it's fun. You get to pick that time. All of us are kind of on a bit of a different schedule. But I like to say, whenever that is, back it up 2 hours and understand that is the opportunity. So if I normally go to bed by 9:45 on non-webinar nights. And so I will back that up to 7:45. So at 7:45, I am telling my body, my mind, it's time to start powering down. And what that means for me normally, because I get lots of my work done once the kiddos go to sleep, is turning off my phone. I'm turning off my computer. No, I really don't need to watch the news tonight. And what can I do? Does that work every night? No, my husband and I watch movies once a week, and it's not all the time. But I honestly think 2 hours before bedtime, it's time to power down. So I want everything here, both my mind and my body, to be fully released of their job for the day, so they can just relax and totally get as much healing on as possible through the night. So the second thing, and if you hi, right back, monkey things happening because frozen pick and voice slowing down. Oh, okay. I'm not seeing anything on my side, but I will keep track of that. Okay, so our second thing is food and water. And this is another thing, thinking about that 2-hour cushion. I do not have, well, obviously after dinner, I don't have anything afterwards. But sometimes, you're sitting, you're on the couch watching a movie and you're like, I'd like some snacks. Oh, I'd like some popcorn or chips or whatever. And normally that's your body not necessarily telling you, I'm hungry for those things. It's telling you, I'm really tired. I need to go to bed. And if you don't let me go to bed, I'm going to need something to keep me going. So whenever in the evening we're sitting watching a movie or news or talking or whatever, and I start to get, I think I'm a little hungry, oh, I know that right away. Time for me to get ready and go to bed. That's it. Because it's not, because that means that your belly will stay up. So after you finish eating, so say I was sitting here and eating a lovely, I don't know, apple. Doesn't matter what I'm eating. Fully eat my apple. After that, it takes my lovely, lovely little digestive system, even if I chewed that apple up as much as I could, it takes it 2 full hours for it to go through, not go all the way through, but do the max of all of the breaking down that it needs to do. So that means your belly is not resting and going to sleep till midnight, maybe even later than that. So that's why after dinner, I really make every single effort not to eat after that. But then, once a week, it doesn't work. So who cares? We're all wonderful. It's about trying as much as you can with these things and just being realistic. Water is the same thing. So here's my lovely water. And it takes me a good part of the day. I always have to have a water strategy every single day. And when I go a couple days without thinking about it, what happens? I slip off of it. I think we all do. 10 cups. So this holds 2 glasses here. I know I have to fill up this guy, and I've lost my lid for it. So it's only my at-home cup or container now. And so I know I have to fill this up 4 or 5 times every single day. I always plan to drink one of these before I have my cup of coffee in the morning. So in my mind, I'm like, I have to earn that cup of coffee. I must consume this before I even turn the kettle on. So I do that in the morning. But I also really think about how I'm structuring water through the day. So by the time I'm finished dinner, I really don't need any more water. I'm not thirsting unless it's really cold and I make myself a cup of tea at night. But the thing is, I want all this water through me. I want my last big pee come 9:30. I don't want to be waking up in the middle of the night, because as soon as you wake up in the middle of the night just to go to the washroom, I just woke up for like 1 minute to go to the washroom. Also, what happens is it takes you a lot of time to really get back to bed and really settle everything. So as much as we can, taking our hydration and kind of front loading it into the day, the better. So that was the second point. The third point is unplug. And this is a really big one that I've been fairly adamant about for probably the last 15 years, when I did some great research with some neuroscience individuals. And what they measured is how much it impacts us. Plugs, I know you can't see, here's a little, look at that, my printer is plugged in right now, of how sacred your sleeping space is, and that how important it is to unplug everything, probably about 15 feet in any direction of your head. And that sounds kind of crazy, but it actually, the electromagnetic waves that they've found, that everything that's plugged in emits, my phone emits it, my laptop emits it, the lights and everything emit it. It impacts what's going on right here. So I specifically, and with the kids, it's a really, really big thing. There is nothing, by the time they go to bed, I have fully unplugged from the wall everything. But of course, we have a morning alarm. We never need a morning alarm because we have a young son who has never been asleep at 6 a.m. in the morning, God bless his soul. But we make sure it's as far away from the bed as possible, if not in the bathroom, just in case we need to see what time it is. And the other big thing is our cell phone. We have a little rule. Once in a while, I will bring the phone up into the office, and if I'm doing something, but we live on a house that has 2 floors and all the bedrooms are upstairs. And we make a rule that phones do not come upstairs unless they absolutely have to, which means I'm doing something with it in the office. Other than that, there are no phones in any bedrooms. It's kind of none allowed. So really thinking of looking at your beautiful, wonderful bedroom and how many things are plugged in right now. And you might do a little head count and you might be like, whoa, we have 6 things plugged in this room. Can we go through and take 2 out? Does it even really matter? They're lamps that aren't on at night anyway, but it does not matter if they are on or not, as long as they're plugged into an electrical outlet. There is an electrical circuit that is going on there. So the fourth one, which is my favorite. It's the home spa. So I always, before bed, just tell my husband I'm going off to the washroom, getting ready for bed. And I go up to the washroom and I spend 10 full minutes in the washroom. I don't bring my phone with me, so I don't time it, but I know I'm in there for at least 10 full minutes. And I treat that as my home spa. Do whatever I want in there. So I have a few things here. So I know I talked to you guys earlier about this lovely doohickey. So I definitely will go, especially if I'm not feeling so well, and massage those wonderful little lymph nodes. And of course, you remember that they are also at the back of your head. So when you're feeling stiff in your neck, when you're not feeling well, chances are it is in enlarged lymph nodes at the back of your neck. They aren't actually your neck that's bothering you. So this guy is a little bit of a miracle. So while I'm getting ready, I'll just use this. I'll also, I know I showed you guys how I do that lymphatic drainage as well as the sinus thing. So I always just play it by ear. There's nothing specific that I do. I always think about, how am I feeling right now? If I feel something coming up, I go that direction. If I'm just feeling regular, I want to pay attention to my skin that night, I'll do something else. So I always make sure right before bed, and I know I wrote this in that home spa point, this is a great time of day. And I know me with, people with young kids, I sometimes go through an entire day without stopping and looking in the mirror, because there's really no reason I need to put on makeup other than when you guys are coming here. So like, do I really need to even look at myself? But that is so not really good with our health. We need to check in with our skin, check in with our eyes. Are our eyes bloodshot? What's going on? Are things getting better? Are things improving? Is our skin dry? Your body is trying to tell you a million different things every single day, and we just don't really stop to listen. So I make sure that I'm always looking at my hands. Just stop. Like, when was the last time that you just stopped to look at your hands and be like, oh, I do have a little scratch there. Maybe I got it earlier doing blah, blah, blah. And oh, okay, that little scratch I had yesterday, that is healing a bit more. Awesome. But really taking time to look at my face, really take a long time to brush my teeth. I got my wonderful little tongue cleaner. I do this right before I go to bed as well, just to clean off as much germs, as much anything that's built up. So when I'm going to bed, I'm like clean slate. And that's for morning time one. But I wanted to show you, so this is one. I brought my fuzzy socks. Remember how I told you guys are going to need to have your fuzzy socks. You probably won't have to go out and buy any. So here are my wonderful, from my mother-in-law, fuzzy socks that I wear to bed, especially through the winter when things get drier. And we're on the prairies here in Canada, so it gets dry. So what I will do, especially with the kids for sure, is I will, right before bed, if they're not feeling good, or even if they're like, hey, 2 kids stayed home sick in my class, I'm like, that's it. We are dealing with that right now. And what I do, I have a whole bunch of different little, this is the eucalyptus oil. I don't know if you can see it. I just got it in a kit for a gift as a Christmas thing. It doesn't matter. You don't have to go out and buy anything fancy whatsoever. But I take eucalyptus oil. I just take a drop or 2, and then I take coconut oil, or I have rose oil in the bathroom as well. And I'll make a little kind of emulsion with it. And I'll take my feet and just rub it. I'm just like sitting on the bathroom toilet and rubbing my feet, or sitting on the side of the bathtub and giving them just a little bit of a rub down. And then I put on my socks. So the reason you put on your socks is just because you don't want to get any of those oils on your sheets. Now what'll happen with me is through the night, I'm going to get a little warm. So I will, without even thinking about it, just take my socks off. So I wake up in the morning, I never have those socks on again. But all you really do need to do is give your feet like about an hour, just because you don't want to get any like oil stains on your sheets. And not only does it help make your feet feel so much softer through the winter, and you know how you get all those cracks in your heels, to really help prevent those, but it'll also help keep the coughs and colds and everything away. So that's my home spa. I really like that one. So my 5th one is to think and release. So a lot of times right before we go to bed, we'll start dwelling about that meeting to say today and what she said, and I should have sent that email and blah blah blah, and we start thinking about things. So we can't really power down here. So what I always do, so this is after I'm doing my little spa thing in the bathroom for 10 minutes, go into bed, and I think about the awesome people I got to work with today. Even if these people weren't all that kind to me, for some reason, I got to come across their path today. For some reason, I'm not ever going to know that. And it was a blessing. So I just kind of think about everyone I got to chat with, everything I got to do, and I do little thank yous to each and every one of them. Even like someone who reached out to me and texted me today, who I haven't heard from in a long time. I just go, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And then big exhale, let it go. That's it, all done with today. Nothing else for us to worry about there. So that's very helpful. It's like giving your body permission to say, that's all done. That's kind of in the past. We're finished with that. It's time for me to rest. So for everything that's happened for you today, so just think anything that's gone on, you've had to go get the kids or plan something or go to this meeting or volunteer here, or do all of those things, go to these appointments. We all need to rest and relax and get back to a nice, healthy place for the next day. And the only way we can do that is if we're letting stuff go. No need to carry it through the night. It's not helping you. It's not even helping. If that was a problem, it's not helping you to be thinking all night of it. It just means you won't be as sharp and awake the next morning. So, okay, all that happened. Give you gratitude. Off you go. You need all those things do not have a room in your bedroom. They do not have any space in your bedroom. They can stay outside. So that's always a very, very helpful one, especially if I had a stressful day where you had an email that was like, that wasn't very good, right? A computer technical thing that drove me bonkers. Let it go. So the sixth thing that I talk about is perfect timing. And this is one that I got a message back from one of you on of how the heck, and this kind of runs into tomorrow is to the morning routine, which will be really interesting. How in the heck am I supposed to give myself 10 hours? So I always look before, from when you're kind of powering down at night till you're out the door the next morning. So I just think, what time, and it might not even be out the door, what time do I have to be functional? When do I have my first meeting? When am I doing my first webinar? When am I saying I'm going to send out an email or something? What time is that? And I always back it up, 10 hours. So I know of that, I'm going to reserve, I'll probably sleep for about 8 of that, but I want to make sure I'm giving myself a buffer in the morning. So it's not get up, run out the door. I have 10 minutes and I'm out the door. Just as much as we need time to power down every single night, we honestly need time to power up in the morning. Both of them are equally as important, although I know we talk about a nighttime routine because that's kind of the fun one with all the healing we get to do during the night. But it's hard. It's hard for me because sometimes I get up and I go to 6 a.m. yoga. Well, how the heck am I backing that up 10 hours? But you just have to think, how can I create space, create room so I do have a proper amount of time? And you can definitely do it. I do it with 2 wee ones that are on top of me come 6 a.m. and we still work through it. And I've taught them how to go through my routine with me. So they're doing it. So they're doing their yoga and breathing in the morning. It's lots of fun. But that's the 6th one, is just really making sure, thinking, okay, I am powering down at 8 o'clock at night, add 10 hours. Where does that take me? Is that about right? And the last one is, it's still today. And this is where I think about what's going forward, what's happening tomorrow. And I know, so there's 2 things that go on right here in our head right before we go to bed. And one is we're starting to pull in what happened during the day, when it's like, we don't need to, we've dealt with that. And the other thing is we really start to think about our to-do list for tomorrow. Well, you start thinking, I got to do this and I got to phone this person. I got to do a million things. Well, is this really powering down? Because we're already starting to worry about tomorrow. So I just always think that I can't do anything to help any of those, to worry about any of those, even to make notes about any of those. I'm going, the best thing I can do is just give myself the next 8 hours so that tomorrow morning, when I do have all those things on my to-do list, I am clear and sharp and awake, and I am in a emotional place where I'm totally fine to deal with whatever's there. And that's the best thing I can do. Doesn't matter if there's a million things on that to-do list, the best thing you can do is make sure you have a good sleep. So I know I read it down there, was just, we can't do anything about those things until tomorrow. So put yourself in the very best place possible to deal with that, which means they have no space in your today. That tomorrow stuff must stay in your tomorrow. So those are my 7 items. So I hope those are helpful. And just like I was saying at the top of the hour when I first tuned in here, I don't do all of these every single night. I work towards them. I'm very mindful of all of them. I know when I'm like, ooh, I hit 5 out of 7. That's awesome. But I also definitely have nights where it's like, no, it's movie night. I'm not doing any of that. Or it's like, my husband's mom comes over and she's a tea drinker. And anyway, we start talking and it's like, oh, I just drank 3 cups of tea right before bed. I'm going to be up in the middle of the night. That wasn't so smart. Nah, it's life. It happens. But it's good to be mindful of all of them and see which ones on those lists are easier for you, that are like, oh yeah, those are no brainers. I totally could do that. And which ones are more difficult? You know, the one that's unplugging things in your bedroom, that's easy peasy. You get it from here, you go into your bedroom, look around, do a head count, and you're like, I don't need to plug in those 3 things. The only thing I really need is an alarm. Great. If you had 6 things and now you're just down to an alarm that's plugged in, that's amazing. You did great. So good. I'm glad that that's helpful. So again, our chat tomorrow, and if you can't make it live, no big deal. This will all be taped and then up on that page. So it's 2 o'clock tomorrow Central Standard Time. So I'll do the second part to this, which is all morning routine stuff, which is lovely. So thank you guys all so much. I hope you have a wonderful sleep. Now that I'm like, I think we should do all of our little webinars in our jammies. I love it. It's like a pajama party. It's good. So thank you guys all. We're okay. So now back to the cleanse. We are at the end of day 3, which is fantastic. So today was our first day of smoothies and soups, and a good question came up. Someone was like, I kind of fell off the wagon. I went somewhere and maybe I didn't eat something I was supposed to. Happens every single cleanse to me. I have never gone through a 7-day cleanse, a 10-day cleanse, a 14-day cleanse where one of those days something hasn't happened. Yet, are they still great? Do I still feel amazing? Yeah, I do. It's totally fine. We just know lots of this, and we're all good. We're all back. You know, I always have something my husband will say, oh, I planned a dinner date with friends on the Tuesday. And I'm like, that's my day 6. Are you crazy? We go, oh, we have dinner. It's all fine. So yeah, all good, all good. So tomorrow is our official day 4. Let me know if you guys have any questions. I'm always here for you. And yeah, we'll see you guys tomorrow. So see you. Have a good sleep.